First of all, the Toyota Yaris Cross is exactly what it sounds like, with the Yaris getting proper almost stilts and not just a Kia Rio with higher sneakers like the Kia Stonic. But why do we need a Yaris with stilts? Even worse, why do we need an Aygo with the crossover treatment? How far will this madness go? At this rate, the Toyota crossover scooter is coming soon. Secondly, I wonder how far it can go in terms of price. It starts at €20,600, €3,000 more than a Duster and €2,000 more than a Vitara. And if you push all the buttons and tick all the options, including 18 wheels, you end up with a beer over €38,000. On a Yaris. As a Tiguan AllSpace, if you're from the Balkans and haven't heard of Dacia or Suzuki leftovers and the only mid-level manufacturer you know is VW. Considering it's selling so well, probably yes. But I wouldn't spend too much money on a Yaris Cross beyond the base trim, because if we're talking about the base model, things already turn 180 like Piers Morgan's head when he took his fist of justice from Clarkson. If you go for the cheapest hybrid and bring a clunker for the government incentive, you end up with a car that is fairly good value for money, especially in today's times when everything is so expensive. So don't be the epidermis of the male genitalia and buy the hybrid version. The regular version is not worth it. The Toyota Yaris Cross also comes in the base trim with decent levels of features. Ortila Tequila. Small. But equipped. You get a urethane steering wheel and shifter, you get a 7-inch infotainment system, you get Bluetooth connectivity and many safety systems. But for a couple €100 extra you also get the hybrid engine, automatic air conditioning, automatic lights and other more or less useful things in life. Yep, you read that right. 80 miles per gallon urban. Or 3 liters of petrol per 100 kilometers of city driving, if you're from the less fortunate parts of the globe. Possibly less. Seriously, the CHR does 60 to 75 miles per gallon in urban cycle, and the Yaris Cross is even more efficient than that because it's lighter and has a smaller engine to work with. Sure, you spend extra on the hybrid version, but you get plenty of extra kit and you get your money back pretty quickly simply from the fuel economy compared to the naturally aspirated engine version. Seriously, I don't know why they sold the NA version for, other than for those brochures and commercials which go Toyota Yaris Cross, starting from $19,990, Toyota Yaris Cross engines, petrol, 1.5 M15A, FKS of 120 horsepower, the naturally aspirated, non-hybrid version is just not worth it. And it uses more petrol, has only 11 extra horsepower and has EGR and EGR cooler issues. Do some overtime at your workplace and save up for the hybrid, 1.5 NA electric of 116 horsepower combined. Sure, the M15A FXE is related to the 125 horsepower M15A FKS, only here it has only 91 horsepower and is helped by an electric motor. It too will have EGR and EGR cooler issues, but much later because the electric motor will do the field work, or city work in this case. Because Toyota Yaris Cross is a city car and not a long-distance car, you are not supposed to go from Birmingham to Lake Balaton in a Yaris Cross. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. As with any Toyota, I'll start with the price, both new and used. New, it costs roughly €20,000 and on the used market they are more expensive than new. But then again, the Toyota Yaris Cross is not really a small city car, it's actually more of a juke size-wise. The Yaris Cross slightly nods back to the Mazda RX-8 in terms of rear space and the fact that those almost full-size rear door don't open all the way. If you're the typical clientele and have small children, the rear space and the lower accessibility is okay. But if you have elderly relatives to carry in the back, you better get them an Uber. Some people complain that it doesn't have interior lights in the back. For some it's an amenity they'll never use or care, for others it's a deal breaker in a car. Fascinating. Next, I have to mention Toyota's CVT because the Japanese can't get enough of CVTs. Fortunately, the hybrid uses a newer eCVT Automagic which is light years above the classic CVT. Honestly, it's a car you buy just because you can, and that's it. There, I said it. I highly doubt there are people who will buy the Yaris Cross for its 4x4 system. Which isn't even a 4x4 built for rough terrain. And it's not even necessarily tall, because a normal Yaris has 135mm ground clearance and the Yaris Cross has 170mm. That's 3.5 centimeters. Sure, in a man's world 3.5 centimeters makes the difference between victory and pulling up your pants and driving off in shame, but in this world, the Yaris Cross is just an accessory to show the world that you can. Because a normal Yaris does exactly the same job, but a few €1,000 cheaper, and it also comes with the same 80 miles per gallon drivetrain in the hybrid version. Which engines do you recommend? Definitely the 1.5 and 116 horsepower hybrid. I don't even understand why they sell the normal petrol as well.